Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Star Player Spotlight. We look at every star player landing in Blood Bowl 2020, from the rulebook, from the spikes, or from the Almanac. So the 2022 Almanac has released this week, and there's a bunch of brand new star players in there. Now, we're going to be looking at what I think is probably going to be the most impactful of all of these star players, which is another cheap bombardier, Cindy Piewhistle. You'll have to forgive me, I've got a bit of con crud from our tournament of the weekend. So, Cindy Piewhistle is back. Now, she was introduced in the Halfling spike in the last edition of Blood Bowl as a Halfling Bombardier. The whole idea here is that she's a baker extraordinaire who throws her pies at people and the warm, like, jelly inside hurts them. Or they're actually bombs. One of the two, I'm not really sure. Cindy Piewhistle is now back in this edition. Now, there's no model for her yet. We haven't seen that. This is one of those ones that's landed in the Almanac just as star player rules. And let's have a look at those star player rules. So, Cindy Piewhistle is 50k. 50,000. That is it. We've got a star player on the go here who is as cheap as Bomber Dribblesnot. Movement 5, Strength 2, Edge 3+, Passing 3+, Armor 7+. Okay, so same price as Bomber, worse movement, worse armor. Doesn't massively matter. The passing is the same. And skills-wise, very similar as well. Accurate, Bombardier, Dodge, Loner 4+, Secret Weapon, and Stunty. So, Cindy Piewhistle, very much like Bomber Dribblesnot, is making a 2+ quick pass when it comes to throwing that bomb. So 1 to 3 squares is a 2+. She's got Loner 4+, though, so if you roll a 1, it's going to be bad for you, basically. Now, that's 2+ for the first 3 squares, 3+ for the next 3 squares, then it's going to jump up to 5+ for up to 9 squares. Is it up to 9 or is it up to 10? And then 10 or more is going to be that sweet 6+. So, as far as bombardiering goes, she's as good as it gets, literally. There's no way to be better and straight out the bat for a bombardier. So Cindy Piewhistle comes in and lands at 50k. Now, we're going to talk about the teams that can take her in a second, because this is going to be, I think, the biggest impact for tournaments, and I know people are already starting to talk about it. Bomber Dribblesnot, the Goblin Bombardier, 50k as well, landed, and then Goblins had a bit of a surge, and Bomber is everywhere at tournaments. We just had Bonehead Bowl, and of the 40-something rosters, I think 10 or something had Bomber in their roster, so almost 20%, 25% of the field is running that cheap star player because the access is so great. And when it comes to Cindy Piewhistle being able to play for the Halfling Thimble Cup at Old World Classic, that access just got better. Now, like I said, she's a bombardier, she's got accurate, so it's 2+ quick bomb or a 3+ short bomb. She does have a very cool special power as well, which is called All You Can Eat. So once per game, Cindy may perform 2 throw bomb special actions rather than 1, though she must commit to do so before making the first action. If she does, immediately after performing the second throw bomb special, roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, she is immediately sent off. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. So Bomber is mighty because he's got that quick throw. Every turn he's going to throw a bomb and cause a bit of an issue. Every now and again, he's going to chuck it up just to see what happens, to shake things. And he's got his special ability that means even if you catch it, they're going to blow up. Cindy's ability, on the face of it, isn't as good. Okay, so if her bombs get caught, they can be thrown back, etc. There's no automatic bomb. But once per game, you can just declare at the start of her activation, I'm going to throw 2 bombs. Now, it's going to be a 50% chance of being immediately sent off at the end of that action, which is going to cause a turn-off. When a player gets sent off, it is a turnover, so be careful of that. But, I mean, if you don't have a bribe at the end of a drive, just that opportunity to just quick pass a bomb twice. You don't even have to throw it at different places. You can literally just be like, cool star player, bro. I'm going to throw 2+ and 2+. I'm going to have 2 attempts at bombing that cage, at bombing that star player. And that can be, I think, a really massive impact. But ultimately what we've seen is Bomber is so effective because he's cheap. 50k is cheap. You run him for a drive, you get your money's worth. He's a distraction. He will cause your opponent to commit activations to countering him or to moving around where he's likely to be. Cindy is going to do that for the new teams. Now, let's have a look and see which teams can take her. Okay, so Cindy can be taken by Halfling, Thimble Cup, and Old World Classic. Now, the Halfling Thimble Cup is just the Halfling team, but the Old World Classic team covers a bunch of teams. We've got Dwarf, Halfling, Human, Imperial Nobility, Ogres, Old World Alliance, and Norse as of Spike 14. I'm not sure if I missed anyone out. I haven't missed anybody out. Okay, so no one from Slan, I don't think. They're just Lustrian. So, okay, what we've got here is a 50k Bombardier. We've seen Goblins, Orcs, Underworld, Skaven. Everybody's taking Bomber. Ogres taking Bomber. And it's just opening up. Snotlings. Everyone. Now, almost everybody else has got access to a Bomber almost as powerful, and in some cases even better. That double bomb can be pretty mighty. Now, Dwarves, 50k for a Bomber is amazing. Dwarves are a solid team. If you don't upgrade your team, if you're only holding your team to a 1 million or whatever, you're good to go. Halflings obviously love their inducements. I don't know if she's going to be that popular in Halfling teams. As a second star player, she's not massively... she's going to be impactful, but you've only got 2-star player slots. And because Halflings roll so low on the team value, they can normally afford proper star players. So you can normally afford Griff or Deeproot, and sometimes both. I think what's likely to happen is in those situations you can't afford 2 good star players. You'll see her just added in there, just chucked in there for 50k. Her and Griff, 330k. Jobs are good, and you've got your bomb threat, you've got your scoring threat, and you're good to go. Human teams, nobility teams, and OWA, again, it's going to be a free roll in any league game. 50k, do you take a keg or a bomber that's going to force at least one drive to play out very differently? Now, even if your opponent literally blitzes her on turn 1 of the game, that's their turn 1 blitz gone for 50k. If there was an inducement that said, hey, you can't blitz on the first turn of the game, it would probably be a good inducement. So even as a target, she makes her money back in that regard. Norse, again, all of these teams, Dwarf and Norse are tier 1. Human, Imperial Nobility, and OWA are good tier 2. Ogres are the one I'm most excited about because they can now run the double bomber build. They can take... Bomber, and they can now take Cindy Piewhistle. So you can only throw bomb once per turn. But what this is going to do is it's going to replace that 50k bribe, because dwarves, halflings, humans, nobility, ogres, none of them have got cheap bribes. Your bribes are 100k. Ogres now can just take Bomber, and then they can take Cindy Piewhistle and run them both. Now it's going to take up both their star player slots, but ogres actually are able to be pretty strong as a core roster. So that's going to be a really interesting twist on this player. So she's going to be ubiquitous, I think, and I think in any league game where these teams are down 50k, you're going to see Cindy very much in the way that you're going to see Bomber taken. And also, if you think about league games, and I'm focusing on league here because inducements tend to be league orientated a little bit, when it's this value, people are going to be spending cash from their treasury. Dwarf with Cindy is going to be the new league meta. I know that's dramatic, but we've just finished up our second league in 2020, and I was always paying 50k out of my treasury for Bomber, and so was the Underworld team, and so was the Orc team and the Goblin team, because why the heck not? 50k, I've got it in the cash. Do I need another player? No, that's going to boost my TV up. Okay, fine, I'll buy Bomber, and then you get one of the rolls on that rubbish little chart. That is an excellent trade-off. And I think when you've got a team like dwarves and humans who tend not to need a lot of cash, they tend to max out their rosters at, well, dwarves max out at 1 million, right? They don't really need 4 rerolls. They might go up to maybe 1.1 million and then max out like with their 12th player. That's it. They're good to go. Every bit of cash from there on is basically going to be spent buying and playing Cindy Piewhistle. Cindy Piewhistle is now the best dwarf star player. And when it comes to tournaments, all of those teams are now going to have access to a Bomber as well. So if you are going to a tournament anytime soon, probably forever, brush up on your Bombardier rules. Now, we do have a Theory Thursday for it, and I do recommend you go and check it out because you're going to be throwing bombs. If you're the good guys or the bad guys, you are going to be throwing bombs now with Cindy Piewhistle. Or Bomber, obviously. Okay, so there's no model for her. There's no old model for her, but we do have at least one suggestion for where you can go to get a model for your Bombardier Halfling. And the best place that I've seen to get your star player is from the Punga Halfling team that they released earlier this year. And they actually have a Cindy Piewhistle. And it is literally a Halfling. Let's see if I can zoom that in. It is a female Halfling chef with a bomb. Well, it's not a bomb. It's a pie. This is Cindy Piewhistle. Now, I know what Grebo are like. They're going to come out with a cool model, and I know what Brutefun's like. Eventually, when he gets around to doing Halflings, there's going to be a really sweet model. But for now, I'm sure you can kit bash one. But if you can track it down on Etsy, which I'm sure that you can, Cindy Piewhistle is basically Cindy Piewhistle. This is the perfect model for it. I don't know on price points. It might have to do a little bit of conversion. Quite frankly, I think one of the Halfling catches from the kit would be quite easy to kit bash your own. But if you want a really easy solution, it's this gal here from the Punga release. And there you have it. The game is changed. Bomber landed and changed the environment. Cindy Piewhistle has landed to equalize, and ultimately it feels like mutually assured destruction time. And for 50k, you too can press the big red button. It's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be absolute carnage. Let me know what you think of Cindy being introduced into the game as another cheap bomber, because there's only Chaos now that I think can't have a Bombardier. Everybody else, blow stuff up. Welcome to Bomb Bowl. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy bombing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.